Just Google it. But Russell Westbrook, what is your thoughts so far of this man? People are saying he ain't worth it. He's a waste of, a roster spot. He hasn't improved the team. They've lost every game. This is not what I'm saying. I don't personally believe this. This is what people are saying on Twitter. I personally believe Russell Westbrook's playing way better basketball than he did for the Lakers. All right? He is out there playing well. The problems are bigger than Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook was the sixth man of the year when he was with the Lakers, so I don't.
Was he? Can we agree? Was he really though? Malcolm Brogdon's
yes,
big.
He really was. Don't give me that. No.
I'm defending.
No.
Defending.
Russ was giving me like 18, 7, and 7 off the bench.
I started this whole segment off defending Russell Westbrook while you came off as a skeptic with my whole.
Russell Westbrook isn't even necessarily playing bad. Yes, the statistics look good. They've all. Oh, here's a shocker. Russell Westbrook's statistics have always been good. Russell Westbrook doesn't play winning basketball, and the Clippers' issues aren't stemming from exactly Russell Westbrook. It's coming from the fact that you brought a non-winning player onto your team with 20 games left, and they look like they've never played together because they never have. It's a very, very risky move to make this late in the season, and if it doesn't pan out, there's going to be some questions asked. If they were to hypothetically lose in the first round to the Sacramento Kings or whoever, there's going to be a lot of questions being asked, and it's not just Russ. Morris shouldn't be a starter. Powell should probably be in for him. The bench rotation of Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, and Eric Gordon is horrible. There's a lot of issues with the Clippers right now, and it's because they've never played together. And the issue is they don't have time to build this chemistry.
So I'm looking at this right now. They made additions to the center position. All right. And there isn't really anyone else rebounding on this team besides Mason Plumlee and Kawhi Leonard. I do know that right now I feel like they're not rebounding and there isn't enough. They're also churning the hell out of the ball.
They're acting like it's game 4 every game.
I know.
They're choking like they do in the playoffs.
I think it's more what you were saying earlier where these guys have this is the first time that they're basically almost healthy. Also, can we talk about something?
Pretty much fully healthy.
Zubats, all right? Him and Plumlee should be destroying the boards. I know Zubats just came back, and tonight was basically one of the first times we've really seen him it was the first time we've seen him from the All-Star break. I just think they need to play more traditional. I say stop with they have too many wings. You said take out Morris. Maybe we go Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. Then you have Zubats and Plumlee rotating in. Literally, you have Zubats play 24 minutes and you have Plumlee play 24 minutes so they both stay fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You got to keep them fresh. So I'm saying you only play them 30 minutes a night, and then you have Norman Powell. All right. I would like Marcus Morris to come off the bench because if you move, I could argue you could say Norman Powell might be the shooting guard that should start. You move Marcus Morris to the 6-man role, and then Marcus Morris and Terrence Mann come off the bench with Bones, Highland, and Eric Gordon. And then you still have Nick Batum and Robert Covington. There's just a depth of players that I think it's weird because there's not in theory, you have all these rotations you can do, which is awesome, but
yeah, it's going to take time. And, I think I'm glad you brought up Batum because I wouldn't even mind if Batum either started or finished games because
I don't mean to
definitely better than Marcus Morris.
Don't mean to cut you off, but address this. Everyone's saying that Ty Lue this season isn't a good head coach. I'm standing by that. I think he's a top 15, top 10 head coach in the NBA.
That's no longer good, though. That's not what we expect from him, and that's not what the Clippers need. Paul George is being desperately exposed, and we're not even at the playoffs quite yet, so that does have me worried for playoff P.
Do you think it's low IQ basketball, or he's just lost a step and he's trying to play like he hasn't lost a step? Does that make sense?
I don't think Paul George contributes. I don't think he's like a superstar who makes everybody around him better.
No. He's a complimentary piece.
So I think that's just the issue.
I think Paul George is now a third guy. I think Paul George, like, he's still good. He's still good.
I don't think Paul George. You could probably argue then that Paul George was never really a grade 2 option.
No, I think
it sounds. Well, what was he one? In his prime's completely different.
Yeah, I'm saying in his prime, like, I know, like, he hasn't won it. Mr. 81, you really think it's Westbrook? I think Westbrook's playing good basketball right now, bringing the intensity. They have an actual point guard on the roster right now who can actually facilitate.
Yeah.
I think the bigger problem is they're not playing physical enough. And I think maybe Tish over here is right on. I hate to call anyone not high IQ because it sounds offensive and it sounds just kind of rude, because I think that, I mean, you're in the NBA, you're not dumb, you know, you gotta have some, like, and I think, yeah, like, maybe not heads up basketball awareness. I think, like, Paul George at this point in his career, like, imagine Paul George is the third option next to, for example, this is just LeBron and AD if they were healthy. That's
insane.
That's insane. But you go, okay, what about Paul George? And you get Kawhi, who's another big name guy that's not as big as those two guys, but like almost as competent. If you bring in like OG Anunoby, OG would be the third option right there, you know? Like, which is more scary, OG Anunoby, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, or Paul George, Anthony Davis, and LeBron, with Paul George being the third option, you know?
The only thing I'm going to blame Paul George for is trying to get Russell Westbrook, because he's going to be the reason they don't do anything. That's the reason they're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
I think Zubac's
it's not just Paul George. Yeah, Zubac's coming back is nice, but even more the reason that these guys have never played with each other, and it's just not the move you make when you have 18 games left of the season for a guy like Russ. It's just so risky. It's so risky. Name one time in this man's career he's ever won. It's never happened, and it is for a reason. So I hate it, but it's not just Russ. I'm not trying to go at Russ, but they got to improve defense. Like you're saying, rebounding. Zubac's definitely is going to help that. And the chemistry, now that everyone's getting back there, is certainly good. But
rebounding opens everything up.
They've had all season to work on these things, and it's not like Russ fixes the already existing issues that they had. So I don't think they had a point guard issue. I think this man was perfectly fine.
I think the bigger problem is, like, I don't think Russell Westbrook's part of the problem. I agree. I think Marcus Morris needs to come off the bench. I personally think you should start Norman and have Marcus Morris just come off the bench with a green light, play like 15, 20 minutes, just shoot as many threes as he can.
You're a big advocate of this. What do you not do if you don't make these types of moves at the trade deadline? Because you're screwed. The Clippers, the way they have to play basketball now when Russell Westbrook is on the court is completely different than the first 60 games. It's completely different. They have to start from scratch. The issue is they don't have that, and that's fine, but they don't have the time to start from scratch. They don't have time to go on 3-game losing streaks. They don't have time to fall into the plane.